All right, now I want to turn to Tom Farrell, who is scratch building his layout. And Tom, I tell you, the scene that you've created is really outstanding. I mean, that is something that I really admire the way that you've modeled it and scratch built it. So welcome.
Well, thank you for having me again, and thank you for putting up with me. Why? Okay, so this evening I'm going to continue my shanty town. I've made progress. I said last week that I would redirect the river and that I would build a dam, a concrete dam, and that's what I'm going to show you this evening. This is an overview of the, I'll show you how I did this, but these are the three structures that I featured the past several weeks, past month. And these are additional structures from my old layout. This is the single kit in the group. The rest of them are all scratch built. These were building flats. I'm going to actually have to turn them into structures. That'll be a show too. I'll show you how I turn these building flats into real structures, standalone structures. They're designed to go against the backdrop, but I'm moving them forward. So anyway, first thing I'm going to show you is scratch building a concrete dam for the Salt River. As you may recall, one of the feature structures on my old layout was this scratch built covered bridge. And behind it, on the old layout, I had one of these special mirrors that the river bent to the left, and I put the mirror to the left. And when you look down the river, you saw the river go on forever. I don't have the luxury of the depth to do that this time. This is only about 2 feet, 24 inches in total depth. I was dealing with nearly 4 feet on the last installation of this bridge. So I wanted to come up with another way to trick the eye into seeing that the scenery continued on, and I thought a dam would be best. So the first thing I did is I wanted to just test fit where I'm going to put it in. So I pulled out the bridge. I mean, nothing's installed yet, and the sculptamold stops right here in anticipation of putting in this concrete bridge. So I took this basswood and I cut it to length. It's 2 inches high. Well, I should take a step back. The first thing I did is a Google search on concrete dams. And I came up with one that has a copyright picture. I would have posted it. But I'm basically duplicating a prototype dam. And this is the start of it here. These are the actual components up top here. This is that 2-inch by approximately 18-inch long piece of basswood, and these are the actual basswood members. I doubled them up here, make that prototypical about 1 foot wide, and I super glued everything together and sanded everything so it's flush, the two pieces here. Not too many people probably make dams. The first one for me. Flipping the dam around, wanted some depth to the dam. So I put on these tabs, and then I laid a piece of basswood across the top, super glued it in place. And then for the spillway, I added these adder pieces here. So if you envision this piece going across here, then I put these tabs on up top, and then I put what looks like a walkway, but it's really the spillway. Then I test fit it. So this portion here will be scenery, and this portion here will be scenery, and the actual dam will be limited to this. I've considered putting wing walls on here. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to do that or not, or just have scenery. I am going to have, I've debated back and forth to have it a dry dam or have actually simulated water cresting over the spillway. I think I'm going to go that route just for just because I've seen it so many times in model railroads, I want to do it myself. So that's my current scheme. After I test fitted here, I took it out to the garage and blasted it with a rattle can of gray primer. Paint always shows your sins. So I went back and sanded and filled this. Oh, this is it dry. Concrete's not actually gray. It's actually this color and this off gray. My favorite concrete color is Floatwell concrete. But since Floatwell long ago quit making product, and a couple years ago I ran out of my concrete color, and one fellow that I know that has the world's largest collection for sale doesn't have any either. So I custom mixed my own concrete color with acrylic craft paint. That's pretty much dead on the old Floatwell concrete color. Now these are all the base colors. So that's the base primer, sealed all the wood up. And then I went back and I hand painted this with this custom mixed concrete color. Then I weathered the living crap out of it with greens and grays and mosses. And I am going to probably tone it down to look more like this here to the left. But the bridge, the prototypical bridge, was just covered with moss and green and even some really heavy blacks on it. So this is as far as I've taken it so far. But this is, I'm pretty pleased with how it's come out so far. I mean, it's actually a prototypical dam. It's exactly what it looks like. Then I said last week that I would redirect the Salt Creek River, because as you may recall, the three structures that I scratch built over the past month, this looks like a traffic jam here. And my wife said, geez, you're really interfering with the look of that covered bridge you spent so much time on. So even if these structures are tucked into the hillside, they're still obstructing the view of the bridge. It's just like I say, it looks like a traffic jam. So I want a nice clear view of this model. It was the highlight of my old layout and one of the centerpiece structures. So I decided to redirect the river, because right now it basically runs north and south, and I'm going to make it go a little east. So this is immediately to the right of the river, and these are those three structures. And I thought this would be the nice order for the structures, and I'd begin cutting into my foam. So the first thing I did is with a permanent magic marker, I approximated the locations of those structures and where I would start making my cuts. This track isn't in yet, and the bridge isn't in yet. This is just for looking at where things might go. So I took this little hand saw and I began cutting my foam. And I took a wood grasp and I cut back this foam and sloped it here. So you can see the whole ensemble. This is the river was basically north-south before. Now I'm going to make it curve to the right. I test fit those structures, and they're on, they're on dowel rods, posts. So I'm with just a drill. Holding in my hand, I put these penetrations in the foam, so they align. As you'll see, these structures align with this, with these penetrations I made, these holes. Then I put in a piece of plywood, which is matching this plywood. It's not totally in here yet in this photo. I glued everything down with wood glue, and I put in I have a pneumatic stapler. I just stapled this plywood in. So this is how it's coming along. Then I test fit the structures, make sure I was comfortable with where things were going. Now, to make it fully go to, before it went north and south, I had to add a corner piece in here. So I took some foam. I literally just set the foam in there. I didn't glue it or anything. I just cut a triangular piece of foam and I sloped it to this old hillside here. The existing, I drew in what I wanted. Put in this piece of foam, put in some scrap foam here, mix some Sculptamold up, and just feathered this into the existing hillside and put in all this new Sculptamold. So effectively making this river turn to the right. And then this is the Sculptamold in place. I envision this is a cut into rock here. Same here, a cut into, it'll be a rock face. This is just a slope. So I wanted variation. I just didn't want it just one long rock wall. I wanted a little variation in this. These are the structures sitting in place. You can see this fits into the cut. So it's as if they cut into the river to make this one work. This one, they use the existing contour of the river to build this structure in place. And this one, you can't see it here, but the theory is that they cut into the side to put this one in place. This is that fourth structure that I keep alluding to, that it's part of they'll all be bait shops. So this is coming along pretty nicely. There's the bridge temporarily in place. I just wanted to see how things look. And I began doing the scenery. It's not everything's wet, so it's a little glossy, but this was the rock face cut into the hillside. This is the swampy, it's not quite underwater, it's not quite dry area underneath the structure. This is just standard, what they used to call zip texturing, I guess. There's the cut of that first structure in there. It's a close-up of how it fits. Remember, I'm going to cast resin for this river once I'm comfortable with everything, and the structures are glued in place, and the structures are finished. Then I'll cast Envirotex or Woodland Scenics two-part epoxy. I have both. I'm not sure which or both I'm going to use. Here is what I envision the town to look like. So the idea is these structures are from the old layout. As I said in the very beginning of the presentation, these were backdrop buildings. I'm going to finish them off and add a little depth to them. This is that Wanda's House of Ill Repute. This is a kit. I think I've built 3 kits in my life. This is one of them. These are all scratch built. They're all different. This has wood shakes. This has siding. This has brick. These have 3 different roof lines, 4 different roof. Everything. There's a lot of variation here. And then there's a visual trick here. We start with a low building. We go higher, 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 and flat. So this draws your eye magically to the right. Same is true here. Just little visual tricks when doing composition. That's it. Any questions on this? Any comments? You guys like how it's coming along?
Where is, combination, where is the dam going to be? Is it this side of the bridge?
It is behind the bridge. You won't actually, sorry. First day with the new hands. Hold on a second. The dam will barely be visible if you're on the left of this, the opposite view of this. If you go to the left, you can actually, you'll be actually, if you stand, I don't have a good photo of that. if you, if you're looking at it this way, you're standing to the left of these structures and to the left of the bridge, you can see the dam. I'll take a picture next time. When I put it next show, I will have the dam in place. I'll have the sculptor mold in place. All these structures will be glued in place. I don't know that I'll be actually casting next show, but if I get really ambitious, I'll have the water in. But I'll take a photo that shows you the dam from the angle that you can see it.
Great, great. I love the scene. I really do. I couldn't visualize in my mind where the dam was going to be.
It's going to be right behind here. The problem is you can barely see its foot right there. See the dam right there? See the foot of the dam? You can barely.
Yep,
you can
barely. Yep.
Barely see it, but the point is I couldn't put nothing back there. So
Yeah.
I had to put something. And if you want to look at it, if you're visiting the layout, you can by going to the left of the bridge and just looking.
Gotcha.
Anyway, the idea is I'll put a road in here, some fence to separate these structures from the tracks. And there'll be all kinds of walkways and complicated walkways to get to these structures. I'm envisioning some sort of hokey walkways going around, and I'll have a couple boats in here eventually. So it's going to keep me occupied for another couple of months, easy.
Gotcha.
And
Well,
then
I look forward to seeing I look forward next week to seeing where you're going to put that.
thank you again for having me, and hope you guys enjoy this. Yep.
Good, very much. Fantastic model. Thank you.
Thank you.